Okay, so my name's Misty. I'm going to be the group facilitator. My role is to facilitate the family intervention. We have a family disconnect between a mother and daughter, and then there's a sister role that's going to be a supportive partnership and alliance.
Hi, my name is Kristen. I will be taking the role as the mother in this situation. So I will be trying to utilize some coping skills in order to communicate with my daughter and explain my fears.
My name is Aubrey, and I am going to be playing the role of the adult daughter who is dating somebody that the mother does not like. And also outside of the role play, I'm going to be working on constructing part of the PowerPoint presentation about one of the methods of conflict resolution that we're going to be using.
And my name is Kara. I am going to be playing the role of the supportive sister. I'm just going to be here to kind of help calm the situation and relief of the conflict between the mother and the daughter. And I'm also going to be helping in the presentation by discussing our implementation of nonviolent communication.
All right, so do we want to go back to what we were talking about briefly with like utilizing nonviolent communication? Because I think perhaps like I know nonviolent communication would be really a great skill for Aubrey to utilize, because that's going to identify her needs and her wants. Like she can say to mom, hey, I feel like you're not really giving this guy a chance, and this is really upsetting me. So she identified her wants and her needs, and then Kristen in turn can say, I understand that you're upset about this, but I am also concerned because I'm your safety. Sometimes people don't portray themselves real over the internet, and I just want to make sure that you're safe and you're making a decision that is based upon the safety of yourself, like something to that effect. Like you know, maybe perhaps not, you know, cookie cutter that way, but like putting in the nonviolent communication and the aspect that we're identifying each other's needs. And then like in terms of the common grounds, like we can have that discussion where I facilitate that Aubrey is going to say what she wants to say. Kristen will paraphrase back, and then we go back and forth until we can, even though perhaps maybe we don't even know how the outcome is going to be, but we definitely know the problem is that there's a disconnect in the situation by they're disagreeing on online dating and safety. So whatever the outcome may be, because we're just gonna kind of go off the cuff and not really have any kind of script, you know, we can navigate that. But I think the common ground is we just, whether they agree or they disagree, we just want them to be respectful of any decision that is the outcome. Is everybody on the same page?
Yeah.
So to speak.
We'll find a way to include both practices into the presentation. That sounds
right.
Good.
Right. And I mean, we could go ahead, Kristen. Sorry.
While you were talking, I thought maybe we could, as a facilitator, you could bring up, you know, first they have a bit of like, you know, 10 seconds of, you know, back and forth bickering or whatever. And then you step in and say, you know what, if one of us brings up the past or whatever, because in nonviolent communication, they talk about how you're not supposed to worry about the past or the future. You're supposed to worry about your needs and what's happening now. So you could stop and say, hey, what are your needs now? And then you could step in and go, you know what, I don't think you guys are listening to each other. I think we should utilize this tool so that we can listen to hear and not listen to respond, because it seems like you guys are more worried about responding, and then move into, and so it's almost like a seamless transfer between the two.
Yeah. And then after that, we can maybe define what each person's needs are and what the other person requests of the other to figure out how the person can get their needs met, and do that with the nonviolent communication. That sounds good.
Right.
Yes.
I kind of wrote down too, when I was making notes, what each person might be thinking in terms of the nonviolent communication. like the other thing that I noticed when we were learning about that practice is that something important is judgments. Like we also want to be communicating in a way where there are no like opinions or beliefs being kind of like subconsciously introduced into the way someone's wording their argument. We want to just like be describing what's happening in a very neutral observational way. And so the mom, like perhaps maybe she is like going at this argument with the thoughts that online dating is bad, and maybe she has already like preconceived thoughts about how her daughter is in relationships or something. And then the daughter might have like her beliefs going into it as he's awesome, I love him, and I'm safe. So we want to kind of like take that out of it and just focus on like just saying words as they are. And then the needs for the mom could be like safety and love. Like she wants to know that her daughter is safe and that she also is receiving that connection with her daughter. And the daughter's needs might be love and trust. So so I kind of was making notes. And then even the sister, like maybe she could be in the middle. So maybe she's also weary about online dating like the mother, but she also trusts her sister. So she kind of is like the perfect, I was thinking
the
maybe,
buffer.
Yeah, she's a mediator between the two a little bit.
And then her need could be like,
what if we like
everybody to just shut up? Like that could be her need.
Yeah.
Like jokingly.
What
if like
my dogs
as the mother,
and I need to put them out? I'm so sorry.
It's
no
okay.
problem.
You're fine. What if I, as the mother, saw something on like recently about like the dangers, or somebody had, a woman got attacked or something like that, and that's what's fueling all of my fear. And then like it might be something I could just bring in, and then the sister could say, hey, that's one woman, or or something like that, and or mom, that's one woman in all these places. I've been on these kinds of dates before and I'm fine, and just it was just something that popped into my head as a possible like kind of reasoning on why I'm being so protective and pushing back on this particular type of dating.
I think that's good because it gives a little bit of a backstory, and it gives a little bit of insight to the motivation towards the like the protective factor, aside from the fact that as moms we want our kids to be safe, but with the adult dynamic there, that I think that's a good take on it.
I have a question because
Aubrey, I said something.
What?
Oh, I was just going to tell you what I said when you walked away.
No, I could hear you the whole time.
Saying that maybe. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I could hear you. I just didn't want to like offend everybody by just walking away without saying anything. But like, sorry for weird body language, because I was like, oh my God, they're smelling so bad, and I don't want to say anything, but like it got too bad. I had to say something. So anyway, I'm confused about one thing. I know in our initial like brainstorming session, we had talked about potentially the adult daughter is being scammed or not being scammed, or the mom thinks she's being scammed, or and I feel like we never quite outlined, is the adult daughter being scammed or not? Like, how am I playing this? Like, do I slip details to make it sound like, oh wait, she really is being scammed? Or is it just like, this is a suspicion of the moms and nobody really knows, and what's happening with that?
Well, do you think perhaps it would be be beneficial for you to like subtly just put little things in there like that we can go kind of not scripted, but like kind of unscripted and respond authentically? Like, so if you're saying you want to make it seem like this guy is the greatest, he's Prince Charming, but then in a sense like there's certain aspects that maybe are a little bit like questionable, like you put that questioning out there, like, well, I don't get to see him on every weekend. Well, why don't you get to see him every weekend? Is he married? Did he ever allege that, like it could open up a whole other different dialogue. So like if you want to make it that like he's either real or he's fake. I guess that would be entirely up to you, Aubrey, because that would be something that I think you could decide, you could make that decision, so to speak. And then we can just kind of adapt and bounce conversation off of what you're like, how you're going, so to speak. So whatever you want to do.
What do you guys think about that idea?
I think it might be easier for us to like figure out, like just pick one way or the other. So then we're all kind of on the same page about it. And then this way we
Well,
can
you could say something along the
outcome, because we said we don't really know exactly the outcome yet. So this way, if we know, is the daughter actually getting scammed or not, like we can kind of facilitate an outcome. And I think it just depends on what we want to do. Like maybe having her be scammed is like more fun, but if we want it to be a happy ending, then we just like have it be like it's just the mom's fears.
Yeah,
I think with the scam though, you could have more conflict and really and then have more resolution and common ground.
Yeah.
If there's definitely a scam, because when we're getting, so to speak, spam or played in an aspect, we get very defensive. So like there could be like the defensive mechanisms coming up. You're not listening, you got tunnel vision and that's it. I mean that could be something too.
I think that it would add a layer of complexity if the adult daughter is not entirely sure if she's being scammed or not, but mostly wants to be trusted and supported rather than feeling attacked. And so that's going to give her a layer of fear and insecurity and defensiveness, because she's not entirely sure either, but she really doesn't want it to be like a mom told me so kind of thing.
Right.
And like, I think like the resolution, if we move these people toward a resolution, it should not be towards like, yes, I am or I'm not going to break up with him, but like, yes, my mom is or is not going to trust me, and I am or I'm not going to be open about my fears about this relationship. Like it should,
there you go.
It should be focused on like what is going to happen with the mom and the daughter, not what's going to happen with the daughter.
Right. The relationship. Like, are we going to get to a common ground, like where they just are going to mutually respect each other's decisions and be supportive of whatever path this may result in, whether she's being scammed or not. Like, just that they're going to be supportive of one another, and they're going to be able to have an open conversation with each other that doesn't result in hostility and nasty words and violent communication. I think that would, I agree with that, Aubrey.
What do you think, Kristen? You've been quiet for a little bit and you're playing like the other big role. So I'm really curious what you're thinking.
I'm just sitting here, dreaming up different things of how we can incorporate it. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it started like we all started going down a different path. And, what if we kind of bring in the whole scamming thing with, you mentioned in our original thing, he's a doctor and he's supposed to be very successful,
right?
But somehow you keep paying for things.
Yeah.
And you have to keep paying, and he swears he's going to pay you back and he never pays you back. And so that kind of incorporates the scamming aspect. And then maybe also with a little bit of the safety, if you guys are planning a trip and he's asking you to front all of the money, and the mom is going, hey, this doesn't sit right with me. You're going to this place. I don't know where you're going. You're paying for the whole thing. Like, all of it sounds fishy to me. But I don't want to make it too multifaceted, so then it gets to be too much. But I was just trying to figure out how we can, kind of incorporate some of the fun of the scamming, but also, bring in maybe a little bit of the safety, because that's supposed to be my need. Well, you don't know this man very well, and he says all these things, and all his words don't match his action, and now you're going away with him. You don't know this man,
Right.
And maybe the resolution is, I give my blessing and say I trust you, and what, I hope you have a great vacation or something like that. And I'm sure he is who he says he is, or whatever. But it's all up to everybody. I don't, that was just while you guys were talking, that's where my brain was kind of going with it, was trying to incorporate these two things.
Do you think we can also reiterate, like, if in the event things don't go as you think they're going to go, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to be supportive. You're my daughter. I love you no matter what. I just want what's best for you.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not pulling
Yeah.
from any personal experiences at all.
No.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's really good. Okay. I'm feeling more like defined about what the backstory is and what our goals
Yes.
for these people. So
Yes.
And I like that we're starting to get a structure. Like first we'll do, introductions, and then we'll do the common ground, and then after that define our needs and do the nonviolent communication. And now we're starting to have like a picture of what it's gonna look like. So that is good. Maybe if we could, because I know we said we don't want it to be like too scripted. We still want to have some like room for flexibility.
Yes.
So maybe our next step is to just kind of like do it in groups, like organize these groups so then we know, okay, for each person has to cover A, B, and C when we're talking about nonviolent communication.
Yeah.
Just so we have a framework of
just like a brief outline. Yeah.
And then so we know we're hitting all the points.
Can I run point on constructing like a Google Doc that's like an outline, like a general outline of the topics we're gonna discuss and like the flow of everything and a suggested time for how long we're gonna be on each thing, and then we can include you guys in it and you can help edit it. Okay, I will construct that and send it out within the next 24 to 48 hours is what I will say, but it'll be soon.
My eyes got really huge when you said Google Doc. I'm like, oh gosh, what's this?
The trip could even be like the catalyst for this whole fight, is that this was the big thing, and that could be the reason that they're having to go and they no longer feel like they can solve it together. It could be the trip is this catalyst, this is the stimulus for this whole overwhelming situation, and then we kind of and just, okay, well, we're gonna have 30 seconds of me and Aubrey going back and Kara trying to calm us down to communicate, and then you step in and and that way. So like we said, it would still feel authentic, but we still have a general idea of what that person's going to say, the other people are going to say, and but we can still kind of make it feel real and organized.
And Misty, I want to circle back to what you were saying about Google Docs. Do you feel uncomfortable using that medium?
I'm just a Mac. No, I use it for school with my kiddo, so I can use it. I can navigate it. It's just, all this technology is a little overwhelming for me. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
I think it is the best way that we can collaborate on something, because then people can edit directly on the document rather than like sending it in an email thread. Oh, Aubrey, could you change this? Oh, Aubrey, could you change this?
Yeah, that's tedious. No, it's okay.
Google Docs for everything. Like I use it for everything. I still use it for my process notes.
I do everything in Google Docs, and then I copy it into Word because that's what they want. Yeah,
I'm old. I still use
and
Word.
It automatically saves.
Yes, exactly. That's my favorite part.
It's saved, and it's on your like drive, so you don't even have to like have all these files on your computer. It's just you log on and it's all saved in your account.
I do everything.
Just a side note: are you guys using Mac or are you using regular PCs?
I'm using a Mac.
I have a Mac.
Okay, I'm a Mac user too, so like
I
was
look
just
at that.
wondering if it flows a little bit more cohesive with like the docs. Like Google Docs or whatever.
Is there anything else that we need to discuss for this recording? Because Tom's just watching what we're doing.
I don't think so. I think we kind of came full circle this time and have a little bit more concrete of what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it. Would everybody agree?
Yeah. One thing though, we just need to figure out is who's gonna be doing the small group process form.
I am.
Oh,
okay.
I've been writing notes, and then I was going to ask you guys, how in depth you guys got and everything, but I've been kind of writing notes this whole time of trying to make sure that I'm noting everybody's contribution and stuff. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I will stop recording, and
Bye, Tom.
I think next week we'll probably meet at the same time unless schedules don't work, but we can always touch base.
I can't.
I can't either. I'm going to be on a plane.
Me too. Where are you going?
I have to go up to Pennsylvania. I have to go on Tuesday to check on my house, and then I'll be flying home the next morning. So I'll be on the plane back to Georgia. So
Okay, so maybe we could
text and
email
figure it out
and
when the
text
best
and
time
figure it
is.
out. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
will stop the recording. What should I